Hello, my name is Clarence Goss, and I will be discussing cultural awareness and diversity in the creative process. Or the question is, who's at the table? The images you just viewed are modern-day advertisements, products, and visual communication devices that have been marked on a list worldwide as cultural marketing mishaps, faux pas, or mistakes. This is just a few. There are many more, and unfortunately they are continuously happening. But why? Why in 2019 do we still have companies that will knowingly release ads that will communicate cultural insensitive messages? Before items are released to the public, who was sitting at the decision table that would sign off on the messages being expressed in the visual communication product? Represented the client, the target audience, and does not offend any other audience that may view it. For visual communication to be successful, both the creator and the reader of the message need to have the same meanings connected to the visuals. Or said another way, being culturally aware can aid in ensuring that all directly and indirectly targeted is not offended by the marketing, which can lead to a greater opportunity for success. There are two areas that have historically been the victim of cultural misrepresentation and stereotyping: race and sex. They are the factors that will trigger an immediate response for an audience if there are any signs of cultural appropriation, misrepresentation, or overt discrimination. Race, the rise of stereotypes, metaphors, and propaganda that perpetuate the semiotic definition that became a part of the language of mass culture, has assisted with the development of symbols of images of black people as savages, apes, monkeys, alligator bait, clown or bumbling idiots, lazy, shiftless, and less than human. Also, development of words such as nigger, coon, tar baby, jigaboo, and other deplorables was introduced into the English vernacular, can be described as signified and signifier. Whenever one of the mentioned words is expressed in an oral or visual form, given the context, the immediate call to reference is a black or African descent person. Unfortunately, the stereotypes and cultural insensitiveness did not end with just black and African Americans. It was also felt during the time towards other cultures and ethnicities that would be labeled as a minority group, like Native Americans, Hispanics, Jewish, Irish, and others. In the 20th century, sexist ads targeted housewives in the duties and roles she performed in the home with her family. The woman was most likely depicted as the homemaker, the mother that was either pregnant or caring for 2.5 children and a dog while working, cleaning, and tending to the man of the house. Established stereotypes, gender roles during the 1950s of man and woman were the normal. It was commercial and visualized in television shows like Leave It to Beaver, a dominant, strong, masculine working father and a subordinate, submissive, stay-at-home mother. The advertisements of that time would begin building a cultural positioning of symbols that would assist in the development of a cultural language of the gender roles that would last for decades and define the ideas, language, and symbiotic references to male and female. Sexism is the behavior, conditions, and attitudes that foster stereotypes of social roles based on sex. The phrase "sex sells" for generations has been the underlying rally cry for advertising marketing execs. When will it end? Well, with the support of movements like the civil rights and women's movements in the 60s and 70s, and today's with the Black Lives Matter movement and the Me Too movement and many others, gender and race symbols in communication strategies starts to shift. There are some professionals that will argue that more research should be conducted in the early stages of the design process dedicated just to cultural awareness. Another theory is the implementation of more studies in educational curriculum of graphic design students in colleges and universities. Schools allow for the open dialogue between different cultures in an academic structural environment that can foster learning and positive exchange. So do we change curriculum with the inclusion of courses such as race and ethnic relations, social problems, intercultural communications, and other sociological courses that can put an emphasis on individuals learning about not only their own cultures, but also that of others and how they all can work together for a common cause? In order for a graphic designer to be a successful communicator, it is imperative to understand the basics of communication theory. Add to this an understanding of visual communication to the global visual language that is the backbone of graphic design, and graphic designers should be able to successfully communicate the messages they are intending. The role of the graphic designer has changed over the years. With the increasing distribution of graphic design can be rapidly and widely spread over the world. It is more demanding that graphic designers develop cultural awareness in their work. It is important that all of the individuals at the table of the initial creative process is represented and speak for the voices directly or indirectly targeted in the campaign. It was best said in an interview on a panel of cultural awareness advertising, learning solutions for future development. Natasha Aarons, marketing manager and brand experiences in partnership with YouTube, she expressed this.
So can you try to give me an anecdote that showed why diverse perspectives were important or necessary in your work or in your creative process?
If I could give an example, not just my own personal experience, but like a public personal experience. No shade to anyone here who's at Pepsi, but the Pepsi ad was a reflection of like, and not to say that there's not diverse people in the room, but if there were diverse people in the room, it doesn't seem that they were empowered to speak up. And I think that that is the key. You can have people in the room, but if they don't have the power to make those creative decisions, we're going to see those kind of ads continue to come out and those mistakes being made. So that to me is like, it's not just having a seat at the table, it's having a voice and the power to make changes at that seat at the table.
At the end of the day, cultural awareness and diversity in design strategies or in life as a whole extend to respect to the people from different cultures we have been hired to represent. Bring in different perspectives to the design team at the initial design process to give a collaborative opinion and options on the strategies to achieve greater results that would avoid situation of offending others. Thank you.